A flight in a Boeing 737 is not usually noteworthy, but when flying in an extended version, the Boeing 737-900 to be precise, there is an element of novelty. In this video, I fly with United Airlines from Dulles International Airport in DC to Raleigh-Durham Airport in North Carolina, as part 2 of my comparison of the service of America's big 3 airlines, American, Delta, and United. Stay tuned. I arrived in DC from my last flight with American Airlines, which, if you haven't already, check out. After a couple minutes of walking to find the underground, I was on my way to the terminal I'd be departing from. Eventually, I found myself at my gate C23. As the sky was dimming, I took a look out at the aircraft transporting us on the hour or so flight down to Raleigh, the Boeing 737-900 from United. While I've flown on Boeing 737s before, this was my first experience on the extended version of the Dash 800. Before I board, make sure to consider subscribing to my channel. More great aviation content is on the way, including new flight reviews just like this. Eventually, it was time to board. As I only had a carry-on, I didn't have to worry about baggage, and as I was a transiting passenger, did not need to go through security again. As I enter the aircraft, if you enjoyed this video thus far, consider giving it a like. With that aside, I made my way down the aisle, 179 seats altogether, split with 20 first-class seats in the front and 159 economy seats, divided between regular economy and economy plus. I, however, was seated near the back of the aircraft in 35F in standard economy. My seat was relatively spacious and felt identical in dimensions compared to my seat in my earlier flight with American Airlines. As other passengers filled the seats around me, the sun began shedding its last light outside the window. Before long, we were taxiing across the tarmac. Before we take off, make sure to consider leaving a comment down below after watching this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts or your experiences on any of the big 3. That being said, it was time for takeoff. As we soared above the Virginian sky, the crew warned us all that we'd be experiencing some turbulence on our short flight of about an hour, but explained that they'd be serving refreshments, even though the flight was extremely short. However, their promise to provide refreshments in the form of a complimentary beverage and snack proved inaccurate. To everyone's dismay, the crew explained that the turbulence made it impossible to serve everyone safely before we landed. While this was disappointing, safety always comes first, and I felt that it was outside of the airline's control. However, throughout the whole flight, we only experienced the most mild of turbulence. Turbulence that I have frequently experienced even while being served full meals. Maybe the weather had changed, or else United have a more stringent policy. But regardless, I, and as I am sure other passengers felt on the plane, cheated out of an expected service. Is this something you've dealt with before? An airline canceling their service due to an almost non-existent turbulence? While there was little in the form of entertainment or service throughout the entire flight, the view from outside was incredible, as the lights from below were astonishing. Also worth noting is the fact that United's cabin provides individual air vents for better air quality and power outlets under each seat. As my flight was only about an hour, our descent felt like it had begun only moments after the conclusion of our ascent. All in all, my flight on United Airlines was nothing spectacular. There was very little to judge my whole experience on, as the service was non-existent and entertainment similarly lacking. While I do not expect airlines to necessarily provide IFE systems domestically any longer, the lack of service on this flight made for a dreary experience. While my seat was identical to that in American Airlines, that flight definitely felt a bit more exciting. While I must concede the supposed turbulence was out of United's control, they could have done a better job communicating much earlier. Ultimately, it was exciting to experience a new aircraft type, even if the only novelty is simply the increase in fuselage length and exit doors. Finally, we were ready for landing. After landing, we soon taxied and deboarded. The next week, I was off to Atlanta on a flight with Delta. But that's for the next video. Make sure to have your notification bell on to get notified when the next episode releases. If you've liked this type of aviation content, consider becoming a channel member. For as little as $1 a month, join our newest channel member, Quantum, in gaining access to old content from my channel, exclusive roles on my Discord server, behind the scenes access, and recognition in each of my videos. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next.